Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been about 2 years since I recorded my last tutorial, and I don't know if y'all seen those videos. That was when I literally just first got my ring light, I first got my camera. I just knew that I'm trying to record and we're gonna do that. But I kind of upgraded. I got some more studio lights. I got MacBooks. So, things are looking more professional now, because I know back then it was looking like crazy, but the fact that I still did it, I got it A for effort, E for effort, A for effort. Yeah, y'all understand what I'm trying to say. So, today I came with this fall smoky cut crease, transitioning colors. So, I just wanted to come back and give y'all some more content. I want to stay committed because I know there's so many people out there that just asking me, why aren't you doing YouTube tutorials? Because I like doing Facebook Live. Facebook Live has kind of been good for me. It's been doing good for me. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to come back to my tutorials and I'm just going to start giving y'all raw, real shit. Okay? So, if you guys want to see how I got this, just stay tuned. Going in with my MAC 266 brush, I'm going to use my Deep Dark Brunette Fluidline brow pomade to just fill in my brow. When I'm filling in my brow, I like staying very close to the brow line because I don't want to make it any thicker, because I want as much lid space as possible. So I just stay very close to the natural brow line, but still define it. With this product, you want to kind of gradually build it, because if you use too much at once, it's going to dry to a really crusty texture. So you do want to use a little bit at a time, and you want to have a very light hand. You don't want to put it on so heavy because you want the brow to be natural. Yes, guys, I had to turn up a little bit because I was so excited that I could finally record. Yeah. So I'm just going to... I already did my other brow off camera, so with the spoolie, I'm just combing front of the brow because I like it. Here I go again. I like it a little faded, and I just want to spread the product throughout the whole brow. And showing you guys my two favorite concealer brushes for my brows is the MAC 212 and the Real Technique Defining Brush. With this brush, it just holds so much product. It is very fine. It is very small, so it allows you to get as close to the brow as possible. Before I conceal my brow, I always wipe the product on my lid, just so I'm not having too much product on my brow. I just want it to be very smooth and very clean. So I like spreading this concealer just on my whole eyelid because it will act as my eyeshadow primer. Now, but this consistency is really thick, so I don't need any additional primer. With a Sephora concealer brush, I am just smoothing out the concealer so it won't have any creases, and it'll be really smooth just before I set it with my translucent powder. Now with the concealer, I do not bring it in the middle of my eyebrows because I do not want that part so light or highlighted, so I just keep the concealer under my brow. I had to move my light because the light was so uneven. So with my Laura Mercier translucent powder and an e.l.f. fluffy concealer brush, I'm just setting my eyelid, and you want to make sure you set your eyelid fully, or make sure it's completely set, because if you put a little bit of setting powder and not enough, when you go to blend your eyeshadow, your concealer is going to move, causing it to look all streaky. With my Crowne Rose Gold palette, I'm just going to go in with that yellow color. I'm going to use that as my transition color, but before I apply that color, I'm just going to use my Gilded Honey Highlighter as a brow bone highlight. And I just like applying that before I put my translucent, so when I do blend it, it can blend in. It's not any harsh lines, and it's just smooth. So with my Morphe tapered blending brush, I'm just applying that yellow color into my upper brow bone, and that is going to be my transition. Your transition color, you want that to be the lightest color that you are going to be using, so when you put your darker color in, it will blend really, really nice. So with my Modern Renaissance palette, I am taking Raw Sienna and putting that right over my transition color. It is now using Burnt Orange from the Modern Renaissance palette. I am buffing that into the crease in circular motions, just so I'm kind of blowing out the eye and also still blending it out. Going back in with my Morphe tapered blending brush, I'm just going to be bouncing back and forth from colors that I'm using, just so I am keeping that eye very smooth and very blended. When I'm doing my looks, I always use minimum 3 brushes, 1 brush with every color, just so when I am blending my eyes, I like going back and forth from the colors that I'm using, just to keep everything smooth and seamless. Now it's time to cut the crease. I'm going to be using my concealer. This is my Shape Tape in Tan Sand, and I'm going to use that same concealer brush that I use for my brows, and I'm just going to take my time cutting the crease. Now for hooded lids, I find it easier, because I have them too, I find it easier when you cut your crease and you look up, your concealer will transfer to where you should cut your crease. So basically, if you just put your concealer and you just look up to the ceiling, wherever it transfers, that's where you want to cut it. So I'm going to use the color Primavera, I think I'm saying it right, for my Modern Renaissance palette, and I'm not sure what MAC brush this is. I will put it in the description box below, but I am just taking my time, gently applying that eyeshadow, and you want to use a very, very dense, flat eyeshadow brush, because you want to make sure you get perfectly into that crease. So with my rose water, I'm just going to spray my brush to wet it a little bit so it can intensify my pigment. This pigment is from the Rose Gold Crowne palette, and I'm using that same brush that I used for the lighter colors. I just wiped it off. And now I'm going in with a pencil brush and just blending in a darker brown on the outer corners. And I'm going to go back in with the MAC 217 brush to blend it out. Yeah, I used to be obsessed with the NYX liner, and it got discontinued and my heart almost fell out my chest. So, you know, I went on a hunt for something very similar, and I came across the NYX or NYX matte liquid liner, and it is amazing. It has a very, very, very fine brush tip, and it dries completely matte with no shine. So I'm just applying my eyeliner as usual, and I will do a more detailed eyeliner if you guys want. So now moving on to the face. Okay guys, I know, trust me, this is not COOCHIE cream, this is not yeast infection cream, this is the Monistat Chafing Relief Powder Gel, and I use that as my primer because it does have the same ingredients as a lot of high-end primers. So I will do another detailed video about that and all the ingredients and all the information. So I just use a nickel size, and the texture is very matte. It's a very, very matte feeling. It's like literally rubbing baby powder between your hands. So going in with my favorite foundation ever is the MAC Nourishing Waterproof, and I am in NC47 along with my MAC Lustre Drops. I like to mix that in with my foundation so it can give me a nice glowy highlighted look. It's not going to be too shimmery at all. Actually, it's not shimmery at all. It's still a matte finish, but it just gives such a beautiful bronzy sun-kissed look. I'm just buffing that in with my Marc Jacobs Phase 2 foundation brush. I love this brush. I bought this brush for $93, but I've had it for almost 4 years and it's never shed one bristle. So I recommend this brush highly. So with my foundation, I like pushing my foundation back onto my lace on my unit just so it can look more natural. I'm sorry guys that I have my mirror so close to my face. I need to remember to pull it down a little. So with my Shape Tape in Tan Sand, I'm going to highlight the high points of my face, and I will explain highlighting, but I think for the most part, everyone should understand highlighting and contouring. But I mean, there are makeup newbies that don't necessarily understand what highlighting is. They just know you just put it under your eyes, your forehead, and your chin. So with this concealer, you want to blend this out quickly because it does dry very, very fast. So I love my LA Pro Girl concealers, and I just love them. And they are very affordable, very, very affordable, like probably I think $2 each. So now I'm contouring my face with my LA concealer in the shade Espresso. Excuse me, I was looking for my beauty blender, but it ripped when I was washing it this morning. And you guys know these things are not cheap. $20 for a sponge, but I cannot live without them. So I like spraying my face with my rose water because these two concealers do dry very quick. So I just sprayed to get it wet a little bit, and I'm just using the big side just to blend out the contour. And I use, well, what used to be the pointy side to blend out the highlight. Going in my MAC 212, I'm just going to clean up the wings so it can look cleaner and crisper with some concealer. And this technique is easier for me than using tape just because it's kind of like a do it as you go thing. So I'm just using a flat concealer brush just to clean up the wing. Now I'm just blending out my contour, pushing that into my hairline, and just getting that bronzy contour look that I like. After I blend out my contour, I like going back in with my foundation brush just to make sure everything is blended out evenly and everything is smooth. So I just go around my hairline and just wear a contour. Setting with Laura Mercier in translucent, I like to apply this setting powder only where I applied my highlighting concealer because I don't want it to make my whole face look ghostly. So before I apply my translucent powder, I always go back in with my sponge and a little bit more concealer because 9 times out of 10 you probably did crease because you didn't set that immediately. So I just go back in and blend that out a little bit. Now to set the rest of my face, I'm going to use my Studio Fix foundation powder. I usually use Mineralized Skin Finish in dark tan because the Studio powder will add more coverage because it is a foundation powder, and the Mineralized Skin Finish powder just makes it look so much skin-like. Make your makeup look so beautiful, and it doesn't add any coverage, so it looks natural. So my favorite contouring powder palette is the Black Radiance. Guys, I use this so much. Like, this is the only thing I use. I do not even touch my Anastasia anymore because this is just the bomb, and it's affordable. So just for a more bronze look, I'm going in with Sun Power from MAC. Guys, I am so obsessed with this bronzer. Okay, I know it's time to talk about the highlight, but I'm so obsessed with this bronzer, guys. I've used it every single day since I started working at MAC. Like, ever since I got my fingers on it, I've been using it. So with my Laura Geller, I just highlighted, you know, the high points of your cheeks and contouring down my nose with my same face powder. Using a Sephora smudge brush, I'm going to use those same colors I used on my lid to just smoke out my lash line because I love a smoky lash line. You will never find me without one. 10 times out of 10 you won't. So I'm just going to make sure that it's just smoked out and bomb. With my favorite lip liner ever, like literally brown girl certified, like oh my gosh, it's my favorite lip liner, not only because I work at MAC, but just because it's the best brown lip liner. I'm going in with Chestnut, and I'm just going to line my lips. I like going a little bit over my cupid bow because I like my Medusa piercing to be very pronounced. I don't know what was going on with this lipstick, but it was not opening. Like, it had my whole lip hanging. Like, come on, MAC, get it together. I wanted a very brown look, so I did put a little bit of nude later on during the day, but that is the final look, ladies. Let me know what y'all think, what y'all want me to do more of, and what else you guys want to see. Thank you so much for sticking around with me.